Man, I hope you're not getting sick of content yet, because Battlefield is rolling out its mid-season update. Now, with big changes coming to the California Resistance tomorrow on November 18th, there's some big fixes that are coming your way, but also there's a lot of stuff that they've been teasing and kind of building up to what they're working on, giving us an idea of how their thought process is going. And that also really excites me and what I'm looking forward to talking in this video. So I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you subscribe, and let's get into it. They'll have everything popping up on screen as I talk about it, but I will leave the link to the X thread or Twitter down below in the comments everywhere you'll need to see it, because it is important. There will be things I also will be skipping over to, because it's not like super duper important to where I want to talk about it, but it's like, for example, Fort Linden is coming to Portal. Cool, you know what I mean? So I'll leave it down below in the description. But the first and foremost, we're getting another change to weapon dispersion, and bloom. Now, bloom has become everyone's new Battlefield buzzword, second most to netcode, and there will be also talks about aim assist and everything else that I also want to talk about later on. But most importantly, we've got bloom fixes coming in. So we've made a small tuning pass that reduces how quick dispersion and recoil build up during sustained fire. Dispersion adjustments applies to all weapons, while most also receive recoil tuning. These changes make weapons feel smoother, more consistent, especially along the ranges where we've seen most players engage in gunfight. Battlefield is a big game. Something that I really noticed, and I'll try to get a clip here and post it in. Hopefully I still have it saved while I'm editing. If not, I'll go get a fresh one. But you can kind of see there's like this sort of like still issue while you're like ADSing, and if you just fire, your bloom is still maximum. Like there's like this reset cooldown period. I'm gonna be honest with you, this game doesn't need stuff like that. No game really needs something like that. There shouldn't be, in a sandbox shooter, there shouldn't be a way you're moving and shooting like how it would be in CSGO or like CS2. I should probably say CS2 at this point because it's been a while now. Like CS2 isn't even that bad, or Valorant isn't even that bad. Like Battlefield might have some of the worst weapon bloom, and these like odd just like restrictions that your guns have that they don't need to have. And I don't know why they continue to do it. We can just have recoil in games. Like we don't need a lot of bloom, especially right now, because SMGs feel like they're the best guns in the game because they don't have any bloom. They just shoot laser beams. So I'm getting outranged by a bunch of SMGs, and then I wind up doing it too, and it's like, well, damn, you know what I mean? Like, I guess I know assault rifles have always been the Grim Reaper Battlefield games, and I know people are still running around with the AEK's, you know, little Timu brother in the game on their medic classes, but really too, like, SMGs are way too strong, and I just feel that, like, bloom is something that I just feel like could be solved with recoil. Like, you know, if you can control recoil, it's fine. I also feel like that just makes the skill floor and ceiling very minimal. Like, hey, this guy's not doing anything special besides literally pulling down on his gun or adjusting how the gun needs to shoot or burst firing. You know, tap firing, even in Battlefield 4 and 3, were still prominent in King without a literal metric ton of bloom. So I don't see why this thing feature continues to haunt us, especially after the open beta received so much praise and love for things. So I don't know, but anyways, more importantly, at least in my eyes, is the lighting adjustments and visibility upgrades. Although we got a sweeping change of this already, it needs to be done more. They did a fantastic job of not being able to see soldiers. Like, don't get me wrong, you can't see anybody because everyone is somehow gray and brown and green and asphalt all at the same time, and it makes it very difficult to identify anybody who's shooting unless they're kind of moving, or you're getting a lot of rats in this game. Like, I get it, we've all, you know, we're getting up there in age. Some people are pushing like 22 at this point. It's getting brutal out there, but like, we got some rats in the Battlefield community, man. Like, we got some guys chilling in corners too much, and I get it, you know, check your corners, but there are sometimes too where you're just in a gunfight, or like, especially like on the second point of Manhattan on Breakthrough, or like even on Conquest, when you're trying to like get into the building, they can stand near the scaffoldings like up the streets, and it just becomes a smudge of what you're shooting at. I can't. Sometimes it's just, all right, I'm dead. Sometimes it's I'm dead 3 times over, and sometimes I'm dead before I even round the corner, which is something I want to talk about later. So hopefully this will be a nice change. We'll figure out what they're going to do with this, but I mean, further improvements to soldier visibility, particularly when transitioning between interiors and exteriors. These updates enhance exposure balance while making enemies easier to see in varying lighting conditions. We'll continue refining visibility and related visual effects based on player feedback. I mean, that's nice, but I don't feel like that was the issue. I just genuinely feel like I can't see people at any point right now. Sometimes they do just blend in with a wall, and it's a little intense. So hopefully we'll see how they fix that up. Okay, now the other last thing that I find the most important, while they are making some challenges, clarity, and everything else, which is nice, and like I mentioned, Fort Linden entering a portal, aim assist changes are coming. So they're adjusting aim assist pretty much back how it was in the open beta experience. I'm going to be so real with you guys here. I don't care about aim assist. I really don't. It's whatever. The thing that frustrates me about the crossplay experience, it feels like there's this like server hiccup or like damage reduction, not an actual damage reduction, but it feels like it's a damage reduction. And I complain about it a lot on my streams. Like if I'm shooting at someone from console or like they're shooting at me, there's just like, they always manage to survive on like 4 HP. And then like I'll die or I'll die before they start shooting at me. Like I'm not saying it's them. I'm just saying there's something going on with the other fun buzzword of Battlefield is netcode, or the servers, or the way Xbox and PlayStation and EA and all this communicate with each other. I don't know what's happening, but I would really prefer that to be sorted before we start blowing up aim assist. Because like, I think if they're struggling to fight back, I don't want to make anyone's Sigmar experience more difficult. You know what I mean? But I also like, I think the main issue is that like this weird server thing. Like they'll just walk away with like I'll shoot them, like I'll see 6 hit markers and it's like 33 HP or like 4 HP. It's like, what? How? When? Who? What? I don't know. Something's weird with the Battlefield 6 servers. I don't know what kind of hertz they run the servers. I can't speak the servers at, but that needs to be addressed before we start blowing up people's peripherals and the way they play. But that all being fun and said, coming out, what is the most intense stuff, I guess we'll say, for November 18th. But we're also getting a sneak peek at what's coming up for the Winter Offensive update on December 9th. So what they're targeting for December 9th, on top of a limited time game event and new melee weapon, which is very exciting. I know that there's a winter version of Manhattan maps. I hope that's permanent. I don't know if that's timed event, but I would like that to be permanent. Just give me a new way to engage on the map. It's not that deep, you know what I mean? It's for fun. But we're getting a vehicle balance pass. We made initial tuning pass to smooth some of the biggest balances between vehicles. Expect to be more consistent vehicle combat. I really haven't touched vehicles all that much. I'll be honest, I do play a lot more of the breakthrough rush game modes. I do play escalation actually quite a bit. I'm kind of lying there. I just don't play conquest. There's just a lot of vehicle spam and explosion, and I really haven't sat down in a tank to really get my teeth sunk into this. And I have been seeing a lot of people talking about how like the air scene is terrible with like planes, attack jets, regular jets, and helicopters. I've been seeing how it's been kind of poopy. So hopefully it's not as poopy, and that'll be good. And hopefully we'll get that little bird coming into the game soon. Several maps in Breakthrough will be updated to improve balance and flow. For example, Sector 1 in Mirak Valley now has fewer available vehicles and adjusted capture zones to help attackers make better progress. So this confuses me because I've spoken about Mirak Valley quite a bit in videos prior, especially the last one I just made. This confuses me because does that mean attackers are going to lose like their tank and only keep their IFV? Or are like defense going to lose their tank at the end? I would like to know what that means. And yes, I do agree that A and B flags should be moved up more. It is like 3,000 gagillion light years away for an attacker to cross, and there is no meaningful cover. That is the bigger issue. But if these adjustments can actually remedy that and make it more of a playable experience for the attackers, yes, go for that. I agree. Big thumbs up emoji, as the kids would say. I'm old. I don't know what they actually say. And lastly, music to my eyes, ears, I can't speak still. Rush mode is receiving improvements. We've updated MCOM placements on Manhattan Bridge and Liberation Peak to create smoother attack routes and more engaging objectives. Sweet. I would also like to see that actually the IFV get changed out on Liberation Peak for a regular tank, because IFVs are much better than fighting infantry, and actually they are more lethal in like rush and the smaller game modes than a regular tank is, just because of the amount of fire you can dish out and weed people out and compared to a tank. So I would like to see a tank instead of an IFV, please and thank you. And also, please do consider fixing the whole multiple vehicle thing. At some point, like, you can get 4 tanks on like Liberation Peak. I enjoyed Liberation Peak, but I wound up getting a lot, so I kind of turned it off from my custom search. But it was kind of fun. But there were times where it's just like I'm just sitting on engineer way too much. And don't get me wrong, play the objective, help out your team, but a lot of people are really struggling in Battlefield these days to like just do anything. And so making them have to shoot all these tanks and have to like know how to like adjust out of cover and move and like, I don't know, walk, like think at the same time is very difficult. So maybe we can see a way that would help, like, okay, we don't spawn in this tank if this tank's still active sort of beat. Maybe until we can like teach the old dog some new tricks a little bit. And also apparently under review, map design and size, which is a lot of things I kind of mentioned. I've heard a lot of good things about this Eastwood map that's coming out. And I hope to see how other maps and just get overall cover changes and everything else. Review of challenges sounds really nice, actually. So here's the thing. I don't hate the BR. I think the BR is great. I would like to see that, you know, you give me rerolls and it doesn't give me BR challenges, because I'm not playing it as much as I am the multiplayer. Once again, I don't think it's bad. I just do think there is a limit to how much sometimes what people want to do and everything else. And so I think that maybe even just like, you know, maybe making a whole section just for the BR for challenges on its own thing, I wouldn't even be mad about, and just giving more regular multiplayer challenges. Kind of like almost how Marvel Rival does, where like you're given all these weekly challenges, but you don't have to complete all 12 weekly challenges to get like the big bonus. You can pick and choose out of the challenges which to do to get the reward. So maybe they could do that to where they mitigate, you know, the BR and the multiplayer stuff. They give you an option for more reward if you complete all of them, or like complete like a majority of them, but you at least get to pick and choose what you want to do instead of just like being forced to kind of sit there with a gauntlet challenge that you can't reroll for some reason. So yeah, other than that, there's a lot of other stuff that will be rolled out, with, once again, you guys can read below. But of course, the last thing here is hit registration. We're investigating improvements to hit registration. We're closely tied with potential updates around time to death and time to kill consistency, as well as bugs sometimes dying when behind cover. Ha, wouldn't we all love that to go away? Let me know what you guys think of all of these updates and patches coming out for not only tomorrow on the 18th, but as well for looking forward at December 9th. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, once again, please do subscribe, leave a like, share all your thoughts with me, and I'll see you on the battlefield. Peace.